A pleasant morning to all our viewers on Facebook, and welcome to GFA's press conference for today, Monday, June the 12th. As many persons may be aware, the Grenada Football Association over the past few weeks has been putting structures in place to help and possibly, I should say, move football forward in Grenada. Today, we're happy to add one more piece of the puzzle, and I'm sure many persons were anxiously awaiting a moment like this. Today, we're going to be introducing to you our new technical director, and it's all in the move to help improve, as I said, and push football forward. At our head table, I'd like to welcome our president, Mr. Marlon Glean. We also have two foreign, I would like to call them foreign local coaches from Arsenal FC's under 13 and also Foundation Phase ID Talent, Mr. Oliver Hinkson and also Mr. Josh Hinkson. And just to the extreme left of the president, we have our new technical director, Gifton Noel Williams. So without any further ado, I'd like to invite the president, Marlon Glean, to officially introduce our new technical director to you.
Thank you, Karen. And pleasant good morning to, first of all, the individuals next to me, but also to all the people who are viewing, listening from across the world on the World Wide Web. And welcome to this very important press conference as we discuss the adding to the structure, our footballing structure, our footballing infrastructure, to ensure that we continue to develop as a footballing nation. You know, yesterday made it 1 year since we've been in office. And over the last couple months, our focus has been on building the football infrastructure to ensure that our young people, our young boys and girls, has the right footing, has the right tools to ensure that they can develop to become world-class players. Today, I would like to introduce a new piece to our project. I want to introduce a gentleman who is no stranger to Grenada. He has his roots in Grenada. He's played at the highest level. He's played in the English Premier League. He's coached at the highest level. And he comes very qualified. He has a UEFA Pro license. As many of you all know, that's the highest license you can get under UEFA. So he's as qualified as the best there are in Europe and around the world. And most importantly, is someone who's for the longest been wanting to give back to Grenada, the land of his parents. When we started this project a year ago, we said that we needed to have the right tools in place. We needed to have the right personnel in place. Most importantly is the development of our youth. Because unless we do not have proper programming, proper development programs for our young people, then we will not have good national teams. So it's important that we start from the bottom. It's important that we start with creating opportunities, building the base, growing the game at the youth levels, at 9 and 10 and 11. How do we have 2 or 3 or 4,000 kids in Grenada in a program, a structured program that allows for development, where eventually we can pull from that pool our elite players and groom them and manage them into top-class players, where we can have really good competitive national teams, but also where we can provide for careers for our young people so that they can play not only in Grenada, not only in the region, but abroad at some of the professional clubs that we watch on TV every day. So today, I would like to introduce Mr. Gifton Noel Williams as our new technical director, who would be responsible for growing the game and developing and nurturing our young people in collaboration with the experts at FIFA, at CONCACAF, and in the diaspora. So I would like to welcome Gifton. It's been a long time. I know you've been, been eager to get into Grenada for the longest, to do work here. I know it's in honor of your parents who would have left Grenada a long time ago, and it's something that you've been wanting to do. Even though you've worked at the highest levels in the UK, I know it's been a dream of yours to come back to Grenada, to not just give back, but to provide and develop a project that will see long-term benefits to Grenada, to our young people, to the communities in Grenada, and to our country as a whole. So thank you very much for accepting our offer to join us here as we work on a project that would eventually lead to success for Grenada and Grenada football. So thank you for coming.
Thank you. I'm not good with the long speeches. I'm better answering questions, but I'm excited. As Mr. Prezi said, this has been a long-term dream of me looking at the country, looking at the infrastructure, looking at the talent that is here, and just my head just wondering, there's so many things that could be better, there's so many things that could be changed, there's so much talent that if it was coached the right way, if it was the right systems was put in place, if we had the right structure, the amount of talent I believe that could come out of this country could be amazing. So for me to actually be able to be in this position now and to be able to be on the ground, be on homeland in Grenada, and be able to do all the things that I've been dreaming about, I've been writing about, I've spoken about, to actually put them into plans and to actually be able to be part of that growing in this country. For me, it would be it's a great pride and it's a great legacy that I would like to leave, that we started something that would be great, and my aim is to leave the grassroots, the GFA from the football side in a better place to how I found it. And it's in a good place at the moment, but I think we can make it grow a good few steps. So thank you very much, Mr. Prezi, for the introduction, and I'm just happy to be here and ready to start working. Yeah.
Thank you again, Gifton. I'm very excited about this project, and I'm certain that we'll see fruits from it. From my interaction with you over the last couple of weeks, over the last couple of months, I'm certain as to the individual, you, that we've selected to lead our development programs, our development goals, and to ensure that our football, our footballers, and our country as a footballing nation would be in a better place as we move into the future. And on the table also, you'll see 3 other individuals who are here with us today. As our master of ceremony introduced them earlier, to my direct right is Mr. Kim Fullerton, who's no stranger to Grenada. Once upon a time, Kim used to be one of our dominant track and field athletes in Grenada, participating in Carifta Games. He was before we heard of Anderson Peters, Kim Fullerton was one of our better javelin throwers, one of the better javelin throwers in the region. But he's given up his track and field career for football. He's now a football, and he comes from the US, so we have to get it right. He's now a soccer coach in the US. Coaches one of the biggest high schools in the United States, Allen High School. And he's had a lot of success as a coach. But not only that, he's also the dad of one of our better female players. Melania Fullerton, who would have represented Grenada since she was 12 years old. Last week, Kim moved Melania to college. So she's going to be starting her college journey at Vanderbilt College come fall this year. So he's had a lot of success coaching, but most importantly, he's had a lot of success on the women's side. He's developed a daughter, but not only that, because he's residing in the U.S., he has a really good understanding for women's football. He has a really good understanding for girls' development. And, Kim reached out to me a couple months ago and literally volunteered to come in and try to provide some support to our female teams and to try to help put some structures in place for the development of girls and women football. And it was a no-brainer that, someone with so much experience in the women's side of football, someone who would have seen success from the women's side of football, it was a no-brainer that we got him in as soon as possible. Presently we have 3 female teams in training. We have our girls U14, our girls U17, and our senior women's, all preparing for competitions later this year. So it was important that we brought in Kim as early as possible to have a look at all 3 teams, interact with the coaches, the players, and help us put structures in place so that we can not just participate in competitions every year, but how do we actually develop a women's program in Grenada that can be very competitive? Today, there is, in the Caribbean, in the region, we have Jamaica, we have Haiti, we have Trinidad. But right after that, I think it's an open competition for who's the 4th best placed team in the region. And I believe if we can utilize Kim, utilize him as much as possible, and he helps with bringing in additional expertise through his contacts in the US, etc. I believe we can immediately become a threat in the Caribbean, not just participating, but to compete. We have the Nations League about to start in September, and our hope is that when we put a team on the field, we can be very competitive. For too long in women's football, we've just been a participant, and it's important that we challenge for promotion through the Nations League and challenge to become one of the better teams in the region. So I'd like to welcome Kim to Grenada. Welcome back, I should say, to Grenada. He's no stranger. He's grown up here. He's played football here. While he was a track athlete, he was also a footballer. So he's no stranger. He understands what's happening on the ground. He understands the culture. But he also has with him this additional tool of him living in the US for the last 20 years or so, that he has a good understanding of women's football that he can transfer to what we have in Grenada. So I want to thank him for taking time off from his busy summer schedule. I know he has a lot going on this summer, but he immediately decided to take up on our offer to come in at this time, because it was important that we come in while we have all these teams in training. And I tried to provide some support. I'm hoping it's the beginning of a long-term relationship, that over the next couple of years we see Kim here as often as possible, helping with the women's program. Gifton is going to be guiding all programs, but from time to time we will gladly accept support, especially from individuals in the diaspora with a certain skill level. So I'd like to thank him and welcome to Grenada. And over the next couple of weeks, we'll see him working with all our girls' teams. So thank you, Kim.
Thank you very much, Mr. Glean. I'm happy to be back home. I saw one of my old coaches here looking a little bit. I I'm happy to be here. Hadn't been here in the last 10 years, so it's been a little bit. In terms of, I always give stories when I have a presser, and the American press tend to be a little bit more when they ask you questions, especially right after you would have lost a game or won a game. But one of the stories I like to give, a couple years ago, my daughter represented Grenada. She was in the U.S. pool, but was not selected to play for the U.S. on that trip, so she represented the Grenada, and we got beaten 19-0. She called me crying, "Oh, Daddy, why did you do me that? And we say, okay, we're going to take some sweet revenge. It so happened that most of the girls on that team played in the same league as my daughter, and the goalkeeper for the U.S. national team, we beat her in the semifinal. Melania scored the winning goal in extra time, so put her team out of the national championship. And two of the strikers that played for the U.S., and one scored 5 goals versus Grenada, the other one scored 4 goals versus Grenada. Melania pretty much single-handedly beat her team in the national semifinal that brought them into the finals 2 years ago. So we did take some sweet revenge on some of the girls, obviously in the club structure. So much for stories. I just like to say that it's been an ongoing process. I think when Marlon last year won the presidency, he challenged me a little bit in trying to find someone in the U.S. that can help on the girls' side. We were working a lot back and forth, and I was like, okay, let's try to use this summer to see if we could come, for example, for me to look to see what it is. I think what he wanted to task me to is to making sure that we develop an operational structure that allows our girls to, one, compete at the regional and international level, and two, look at it as an opportunity to have a career out of playing at soccer football. And in this case, I think what we're thinking about, we should have a pipeline of girls who can adequately represent us at a national team level, but who can also go on to get college scholarships in the U.S. Ironically, I just put my daughter into one of the top universities in the top 20, ranked top 20 in the U.S. in NCAA soccer. So, and I have a clue. A lot of people don't understand, I guess. We have the talent in Grenada, that I know. My kid wasn't faster or stronger than any of the girls she played it when she came here and was 12, playing in the U17. She was probably more developed. So I think we want to look at a program that allows someone to, from the age of 5, develop their tools so that when you reach 13 or 14, we technically able to deal with people like me who could come in and help more with the tactical side of the game. But I'm happy to be here, and I'm very encouraged by what I see around us. I'm willing to learn, to relearn what it takes here. I know there are some inadequacies in terms of the amount of facilities, but we have what most people don't have, and that is a natural talent. We have the natural talent here. It's a matter of creating the programs that will allow these girls to develop and be well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Fullerton. And as I said earlier, I'm really looking forward to us providing the right platform for our young girls. You know, I believe, and I humbly believe that it's an easy opportunity for us to have a proper women's program in Grenada that develops proper women's team that can compete and compete at the highest level and represent Grenada at some of the top competitions, you know, whether it's the Gold Cup or even in the World Cup. Jamaica's women's program didn't take off until a few years ago, and now they're back-to-back World Cup qualifiers. Haiti started a program not too long ago also, and now they've participated in the U20 World Cup for women, and now they're in the Senior Women's World Cup. if we put emphasis on the girls' game, if we provide the right opportunity, the right platform for our young girls to develop, as Mr. Fullerton said, we have the talent, we have the raw talent. What we haven't been able to do is to manage them. What we haven't been able to do is provide them with the right opportunities so that they can compete. If we put all these things together, I believe that we can see a lot of success coming out of the women's game, of the girls' game. But we have to start now, and we have to start from grassroots and develop them over a period of time so that our U14, then U15, then U17, then U20 national teams can compete and defeat some of the better teams in our region. So thank you again, Kim, for coming on to this project, for believing in it, and wanting to be part of it. And we look forward to seeing you here as often as possible as we continue to try to develop the game in Grenada. Thank you, Kim. And to my extreme right and extreme left, I have two other gentlemen, Josh and Oliver Hinkinson. They're brothers. I'm sure by the last name you think that there is some relationship. They're brothers who are also of Grenadian parents who are operating in the diaspora. The two gentlemen, one is the under-13 coach of the greatest club in the world, Arsenal FC. And he's the under-13 boys coach there. And the other works at Fulham FC. These two individuals are, as I said, they're Grenadians. And they've heard of the project, of our Project Grenada Football, and been wanting to be part of it. So we understood that they were eager to come to Grenada to provide some support. And immediately we got on a call and tried to get them down here as soon as possible. As I said earlier, it's important that we connect with the diaspora. What we have in the diaspora are a lot of experts, and a lot of them are just waiting for the opportunity to give back, waiting for the opportunity to help out. And it's something that we're going to continue to tap into. You know, these gentlemen are working with some of the top clubs in the UK. Just recently, I read an article about one of Josh's training sessions in England. And these individuals are being regarded as high-level, high-quality coaches from around the globe. And they have a connection to Grenada. And it's automatic that we try to utilize them. Because if we do not utilize them, there are bigger countries who are sitting there and trying to figure as to how to utilize the expertise. And you know what we've done in Grenada before? We wait until someone shows up at one of the top clubs in the world, and then we recognize them as Grenadian. But when we see potential, when we see talent, we need to provide an avenue for them to come in and provide the support as early as possible. Because what they can add right now is a lot of value. They can add a lot of the different pieces that we do not have. You know, to coach at Arsenal, Arsenal is one of the best teams in the world. And to coach at Arsenal, you're competing with every coach from around the world. So if we have a Grenadian who can coach at that level, then the GFA, it's only fitting that we provide that avenue for that for him to come in and provide some support. So over the last weekend, they've been working with our youth national teams. I know they did some work with the U15 boys in a training camp that was held Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And over the next week and a half, they're going to provide some more support to our girls U14, our girls U17, and our women's senior team. So I'd like to thank you guys for taking the trip, for agreeing to provide the support to the GFA, to our young boys, young girls, and to our country, the country of your parents. And we thank you for coming. You could have, these guys are in off season now and could have taken a vacation to some exotic country somewhere. But they chose to come to Grenada to work. They chose to come to Grenada to give back to the land of their parents. And I'm very appreciative, and I'm sure Grenada would be very appreciative. Not too often we get individuals committed to a cause. This is the first time they actually come in to work with the FA, and we're hoping it's not going to be the last. We're hoping that we can form a partnership that you can utilize and we can utilize your skills and experience and knowledge. And the hope is that we can grow the Grenada football. We can help our young boys and girls to realize their dreams. Football is the most participated sport in Grenada, but we haven't been able to provide the right platform. We haven't been able to provide the right framework for these boys and girls to develop themselves. Going forward, football needs to be a career choice. Over the last couple of weeks, every school been having career days at their school, from pre-primary, primary, secondary. And every kid wants to be a doctor or an engineer or one of those exotic careers. But not too often you see a kid wanting to be a footballer. And it's time we start looking at football as a proper career. A lawyer in Grenada today probably makes about, coming out of law school, maybe about 4,000 EC dollars. A footballer today gets an opportunity and gets to England and probably makes about 20,000 pounds a week. So how do we provide a career opportunity for boys and girls? Because now in Europe, the women's league is blossoming. The Women's Champions League is blossoming. And the female players now are making good money playing football. So how do we provide that opportunity for boys and girls to look at football as a career and dedicate their time and effort and energy into playing football? So I'd like to thank you guys for coming, for taking this long trip across the pond. And we're looking forward to seeing you here more often as we develop on this project. Thank you. I don't know who wants to go first.
Just want to say, thank you for the invite from yourself and everyone at the Football Association that's made it happen. It's been a pleasure to be on the island, to get a feel for the projects in hand, to work closer with the staff as well as the players, and to be completely honest, I'm just really grateful and honoured with the opportunity to add value to this project. Having had wealth of experience with development cycles, I understand that it's not going to happen overnight, but the moment we start to plant the right seeds, then we'll see it start blossoming. So just really, really thankful for it and looking forward to being part of this development cycle.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. And again, just to add on to what my brother was saying, we're very, very thankful for this opportunity, Marlon. We actually tried, when we started our coaching journey about 16, 17 years ago, about 5 years into it, we actually tried to get involved with the Grenadian FA because we was eager to give back. And there was a kind of a wall where we couldn't get through. So we're just glad we spoke to you. Well, it was my brother and yourself speaking, and everything you've said, you've acted on. So I think you've already shown in your short reign, when you're given the right sort of tools, how much you can do. So we're very, very thankful for that. And yeah, my sort of ambition and hope with Grenada and with the FA is that I remember Jose Mourinho's first press conference as a Chelsea manager. I remember Jurgen Klopp's first press conference as the Liverpool manager. I remember Pep's first press conference as the Barcelona coach. And I'm just hoping that we look back at this press conference in 10 years' time and there's a lot of stuff that's happened. We've got our girls competing and qualifying for World Cups. We've got the participation in Grenada up. And just like you said about careers in football, yes, as a professional footballer, you can earn a lot, but you can also earn a lot as a analysis. You can also earn a lot as a physio, as a doctor within football. So I think we want to, as much as possible, try and grow the game and try and make all these things possible. And to make all these things possible, even though it's us five sitting up here on the table right now, there's a lot of people behind the scenes who make these things happen. And for Grenada to get where it needs to get, because we are a smaller nation, but a very powerful nation, it's going to take everyone. So it's going to take a we effort. So anyone that's watching this now, any people of Grenadian roots who are abroad and could add value, I think it's going to need everyone to reach out, to give Marlon everything he needs so he can be successful. And I just really, really hope, and I'll be committed to it, that in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years' time, we've set a real good foundation. We create a culture within Grenada, and then we can start getting as many vocations, as many professionals as we can, get our national teams competing in World Cups, competing in the Gold Cup, and then eventually winning. So that's my dream. But again, for it to happen, it's going to have to be we to make these things happen.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. And there you have it. Our new technical director, Mr. Gifton Noel Williams, has been added. And no doubt, we definitely wish him all the success. At this point, we'd like to just pause for any questions by the media.
So Kim and Josh and Oliver is going to be here just for a few weeks. And the whole idea is for them to get an understanding as to what we're working with presently. So Kim is going to analyze our women's program, our women's football, to kind of understand as to where we are and what it takes to get us to a more competitive and a stronger foundation for the growth of the girls' game. Oliver and Josh are here again for a 2-week period, and the focus is on analyzing our youth football to try to understand the skill level, the level of development, and what is needed in order to get our youth programming up to speed. And then the TD is going to be here for a long period of time. He's going to, as I said, the objective is to get him here to grow the game from the ground. The idea is to have 2,000-3,000 kids participating in football every week. We are about to launch our national grassroots program in September, which he's going to oversee. He's also going to be responsible for all the coaches who are coaching our youth national teams and the women's team. And the emphasis is on development, but development more so from our young players at the U10, U13, U15 level, U17, U20. How do we get the national grassroots program up and running, and from there start selecting our elite players at U10, U13, U15 into a national program, so that we'll have a pool of maybe 60 or 70 kids at U10, U13, U15 that becomes, from there we pick our national team every year. The only way we can be successful is we have to have all year round training for all age groups. We haven't had this in a long time, and additionally we need to start getting our players to start playing competitively at a younger age. So how do we get our 8-year-old and 9-year-olds in proper competitions so that we can start selecting our elite players at under 10? That forms a pool So by the time they get to secondary school in Form 1 and Form 2, they're competitive. They're not sitting for 2 years before they can make a secondary school team. But immediately upon entering secondary school, can start on any of the secondary schools in Grenada. So we've done it before, we've seen it before. We just have to go back and invest in our young boys and girls so that they can be up to speed at a younger age. Now we see kids coming through at 15 and 16. We need to start identifying them at 8 and 9 and manage them over that period. So by the time they're 15, 16, we're now looking to see how do we place them at clubs and academies outside of Grenada, rather than waiting for them at 25 to develop to some sort of semblance of a good player. And then we're trying to, by then we're too late in terms of getting them out to whether it's a college or to clubs abroad. So Gifton is going to be overall in charge of all development. And when we have these experts coming from the diaspora, they're going to work along with him. He's going to dictate as to what sort of pieces we need in terms of our development program. Whether we need more emphasis on girls, whether we need more emphasis on young boys, or even the older boys teams, the U9, the U20s, the U17. He's going to dictate our structure for our technical department, and we're going to provide whatever support there is to make sure that we have a proper, strong, functioning technical department. But also we have a growing base of players. My hope is that you drive around Grenada on Saturday morning and every kid in Grenada is playing football. Not like they're not going to play any other sports, but the hope is that we can have every kid in Grenada playing football. So whether you're 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 or 14 or 15, you should be playing football somewhere in Grenada. So the National Grassroots Program is going to be in 40 centers around Grenada. So every populated area in Grenada is going to have a training center that kids can just come out from their house and walk down the street and participate in football. And the hope is that this is going to drive the development of football going forward.
I just have one question here from the media for the technical director. What are some of the areas that you think needs to be worked on immediately?
I think some of the areas that need to be worked on, we've got the programs for that immediately. So one of the biggest things I spoke to Mr. Prezi about was about the grassroots and really looking into the future. And after conversation that we had, he explained to me about the grassroots program that's going to be rolled out in September and the part that I would play in that program. And I think that's the biggest thing, is making sure that every child is able to play football if they want to, from a young age. If you look at Gold Cups and stuff like that, and everyone wants to do it the quick way. Let's do it 2 years, and let's just get loads of foreigners over and bring them in the team. Well, I think there's a plan to win tomorrow. So whichever game we play tomorrow, can we win tomorrow? But also, can we win in 10 years as well? So that's my aim really, is that winning tomorrow is important, and the game we have on Saturday is important, and for us to develop and to get into character nations league. But also, winning in 10 years is important as well. So if you look at the kids now who are 9, 10, 11, you may look at them and think not for nothing of them. But in 10 years' time, they're going to be the guys are going to be the first team, the national team, hopefully playing in these big competitions. So, it's about looking, it's just in doing more. What's been done already, so a lot of good things have been done already. It's just about putting a little bit of knowledge, my knowledge, my bit of wisdom into it, with my understanding of my experience of life and football, and just trying to enhance it as much as possible and try and help the development of the players. There's other little things like tracking systems and data and many other little things that we're going to get to, but I think they're the things that we get to later on down the line.
Well said there. Thank you very much for that. And I would also like to thank everybody for being here today. We have a new technical director, another piece of the puzzle. He has been added, and we will want to wish him all the success, because success for the TD means success for football overall. So thank you very much. And thank you for taking up the challenge. So there you have it, folks. As I said, the new technical director has been added, and once again, look forward to the GFA for more in terms of overall development of football in Grenada. And don't forget, this Saturday at Austin George Park, the Premier League kicks off. So thank you for joining us today.